Risers, welcome back. As I had promised to you, I'm starting a multi-part series known as the psychology of romantic relationships. And I'm going to take you step by step through each of the components that are important for you to understand and have a knowledge of when it comes to navigating around romantic relationships, especially if your goal is to have and establish and sustain a healthy one. And so starting today, I will be taking you through a systematic series of episodes that teaches you A to Z, what to do, how to do it, and what is important. So today, part of the series, I think it's important to start from the very beginning, which is your childhood. So today we'll be exploring past patterns and attachment styles. Specifically, I would like you to focus on understanding and knowing how your past has shaped you and caused you to sort of manifest specific type of dynamics, whether you intended or not, they happen either way, and how to make the unconscious conscious so you can be the creator of your life and be the one who has the power to attract whatever you desire in this healthy dynamic. And so to begin with, let's go back to the very present. We all know that the first 7 years of life are extremely important in terms of how you come to behave in the world and in your interpersonal skills with other people. A lot of the time it's said that the dynamics you share with your primary caregivers is the dynamic that usually comes up when you are in a romantic relationship. And so it's extremely important to be able to gain awareness on how you are in terms of the dynamics you share with your mom and your dad. And when it comes to understanding the dynamics you share with your mom or your dad, one thing that's extremely important for you to assess and know is your attachment style. So what is an attachment? It's the way you associate with someone in a very predominant manner. And again, it doesn't mean that you're stuck with that specific attachment style. Everything in life is fluid. Believe it or not. If someone tells you, oh, you're insecure, it doesn't mean you will be insecure for the rest of your life. You can change it. Research has shown us the idea of epigenetics, the idea of brain plasticity, and all of these are things that are basically saying that it's not really something that's within you that codes you to behave a certain way, but it's the external signal itself that you can utilize and you can create in your life to make it the way you want it. You can even shift your brain because of the art of plasticity to do and think and behave in a certain way, as well as your genes can be over and beyond coded. Apart from the basic blueprint, you can send signals for your genes to recode to give you what you want from your life. So here, you are not the victim of your circumstances, you are the creator. You are this person who is able to create everything that you desire. And when I say everything, I mean everything. You are much, much, much more powerful than you think you are. So let's get back to the attachment styles. Now, there are 4 different types of attachment styles. Repeat with me if that helps. There is secure attachment, there is anxious attachment, there is avoidant attachment, and there is the disorganized or the undifferentiated, which is a mix of anxious and avoidant. And so one of the most famous pioneers in the theory of attachment was Mary Ainsworth, and she conducted an experiment. She was a Canadian-American developmental psychologist, and she created an experiment called the strange situation, where she took a bunch of babies. It's a very cute experiment and also a very primal, very important one. So she took a bunch of babies, she put them in the room, and she basically observed their interactions with their parents. And what she found was that when a parent would leave the baby and go out of the room and then come back, she wanted to study how the baby would respond to that. So the babies that are securely attached, when the caregiver left the room and came back, the babies were perfectly fine. They had a secure base, they played, they were fine. When the mom came back, they greeted the mom with a huge smile on their face. They were completely secure and fine with the whole situation. When it comes to anxiously attached children, how they behaved was they were a little anxious when the caregiver was leaving, and when the caregiver came back, they started crying. They clung on to the caregiver, almost like, why did you leave me? They were kind of like more on the needy end. And the third category of babies were the avoidant types. So these babies, when the caregiver returned, the babies would not look at their face. They were like, you left me, now I'm never gonna look at you again, like I'm angry with you, you know. So they had that type of presentation. And then the fourth, which is the undifferentiated disorganized attachment style. It's a mix of both. So it's both avoidant and anxious. And what these babies did is, when the primary caregiver returned back to the room, they were almost clinging to them, but then they were like, I don't really care about you anymore. Or they were like very disorganized, or they would be like, I don't care about you anymore, but then clinging back to them. So it's a very unstable type of attachment style. So what Mary Ainsworth found is that as adults, if we are successful, and as parents, if we are successful in allowing our kid to develop that level of trust, that no matter what happens, you have the secure base, and you are open to exploring the world within the secure base, that's what causes the baby to feel secure. So regardless of the external situation, the baby feels very satisfied and happy in its own company, in its own presence, regardless of what the caregiver is doing, because that internal sort of compass has already been established that helps the baby be the secure self. However, when it comes to the other forms of attachment styles, the baby still needs to find that attachment style, that secure base, which the baby is unsuccessful at doing. And as caregivers, it's extremely important to inculcate that in your child from the very beginning. And a lot of the times, it's the attachment style of the caregiver that the baby inherits. So if the caregiver is anxious, the baby can be anxious. If the caregiver is dismissive, the baby is dismissive. So sometimes it's also what the baby inherits or models from the parent. So all in all, the reason I'm sharing this important information with you is because when you go into or try to establish a healthy romantic relationship, it's extremely important for you to maybe ask or inquire or explore which attachment style you fall into. And one of the ways to do that is, I'm going to leave the link below. It's called yourpersonality.net. It's something that I make all my students do. It's free. It's an online survey. I'm not sponsored by them. It's something that I personally enjoy doing, and I'm sharing with you all. And when you take the survey, it takes about half an hour to take the survey. It's free. You just have to register, go and take it, and you understand what your attachment styles are. And like I said, everything in life is fluid, including the attachment styles that you currently have. So just because you're anxious or avoidant doesn't mean that you cannot make it secure. A lot of the times when you end up with a secure partner and you're anxious or avoidant or disorganized, you also end up becoming secure with time. So time is the true it's the true essence of all things. It tells you what you can become with a lot of patience and trust and love. And so this video is focused on past patterns and attachment styles. And if you're following me through this series on the psychology of romantic relationships, I highly recommend you to be completely aware of your past, not linger in it, not allow it to define you, but see how it shapes you. Because at the end of the day, that is the beginning of how you can shape your own self to becoming the creator of your life and not the passive victim. And so circumstances don't affect you, you affect them. And the first step to knowing that is to be aware of your past and how it influences your present, and to take control in your own hands. Stay tuned for more videos on romantic relationships. I'm going to take you systematically through each. And do subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button for more notifications with a lot more treasure that's coming your way. Thank you, Soul Risers. See you soon. Bye.